Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to another video today. My name is Chris, and today we're going to be once again taking a look at the map of the non-liquidating and liquidating Sears and Kmart stores, which, yes, this map has been updated by Dead and Dying Retail as of 10:34 p.m. Eastern Time, as of Saturday, September 24th, 2022. So with the closure of the Sears and Roebuck store at the Burbank Town Center in Burbank, California, occurring on Sunday, November 20th, 2022, along with the Sears and Roebuck store at the Valley Mall in Union Gap, Washington, we are now down to 9 Kmart stores and 13 Sears and Roebuck stores. Combine both numbers together, and you get approximately 22 non-liquidating Sears and Kmart stores. Now, before we go on the map of location by location by location on the map created by Dead and Dying Retail, let's go over the list of liquidations, when the locations will be closing, and so let's get started. So, total of 9 Kmart's, 13 Sears and Roebuck stores, a total of 22. So let's start off with let's go ahead and start off with Kmart, mainland continental United States, and we have the Kmart store at the Kendall Lakes Plaza Shopping Center in Kendall Lakes, Miami, Florida, the Kmart store at the Westwood Plaza Shopping Center in Westwood, New Jersey, which is required to be closed on Sundays because of the Bergen County Blue laws that prevent this retailer from opening its doors. And today does happen to be Sunday, so this Kmart store is unfortunately closed today. And as a result of that, the only two operating Kmarts today are Kendall Lakes, and of course the only other Kmart left that's operating in the mainland continental United States. It's the Kmart store at the Bridgehampton Commons Shopping Center in Bridgehampton, New York. Now we get to Kmart off mainland continental United States, and we have the Kmart store in Tolman, Guam, the Kmart store at Plaza Las Americas Shopping Center in Hatorade, Puerto Rico, the Kmart store at Sunshine Mall in St. Croix, United States, Virgin Islands, the Kmart store at the Sunny Isle Shopping Center in St. Croix, United States, Virgin Islands, the Kmart store at the Tutu Park Mall in St. Thomas, United States, Virgin Islands, and finally the Kmart store at the Lockhart Garden Shopping Center in St. Thomas, United States, Virgin Islands. Now we get to Sears, continental mainland United States, and obviously with the closure of Burbank, California, it is now even between Florida and California. So with Sears, we have the Sun Valley Shopping Center in Concord, California. The Sears store, they are Sears and Roebuck, but I'm calling them Sears stores for simplification purposes. The Sears store at the Webster Town Mall in Stockton, California. The Sears store at the Whitwood Town Center in Whittier, California. The final Sears store in the greater Los Angeles area. So I'll go ahead and fix that too. And then in Florida, we have the freestanding Sears store in Coral Gables, Miami, Florida, the Sears store at the Florida Mall in Orlando, Florida, the Sears store at the Gardens Mall in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, and after those states which have multiple Sears department store locations within the state, the rest of these states only have one single full-line Sears department store within the state. So we're really getting down to the final 13. That's pretty crazy. So we have the Sears store at the South Shore Plaza in Braintree, Massachusetts, the Sears store at the Francis Scott Key Mall in Frederick, Maryland, the Sears store at the Newport Center Mall in Jersey City, New Jersey, the Sears store at the Friendly Center in Greensboro, North Carolina, the Sears store at the Cielo Vista Mall in El Paso, Texas, and finally the Sears store at the Westfield South Center Mall in Tuckahoe, Washington State. The last one now. These are all the last, by the way, in the state, going from Massachusetts all the way down to Washington. So we're really getting down to the final bunch of Sears full-line department store locations, unfortunately. And then obviously we have right here, we have Sears off mainland continental United States, and the only one left is the Sears Plaza Las Americas Mall in San Juan, Puerto Rico. And here's a really interesting fact for all of you. Given the closure of Burbank now, this is the last full-line Sears department store that has all three levels of it open. Yes, Tuckahoe is 3 floors, but they have since closed off the third floor of that particular location. So, anyways, now that we've done the non-liquidating, let's get to what's liquidating and when their final days of operation are. So next month, just about in a couple of weeks, the Sears and Roebuck store, the Sears store, this is liquidating store closing Sunday, October 16th, 2022, and it's going to be the Sears store at the Newburgh Mall in Newburgh, New York. And then following that, there's going to be 2 more Sears closures happening in Sunday, November 20th, 2022. That's Sunday before Thanksgiving. We had a similar thing that happened last year, too. So this definitely does not come as a surprise. The Sears store at the Burbank Town Center in Burbank, California, and the Sears store at the Valley Mall in Union Gap, Washington. So we have 2 Sears closures for November 20th, 2022. Well, by the way, all Sundays, by the way. And then we have 1 Sears closure happening October 16th, 2022. So, anyways, with that being said, let's take a look at the non-liquidating map. So we're going to start out in the Pacific Ocean near the Northern Marine Islands on the island of Guam, a couple miles west of the Antonio B. Juan International Airport, and we have this Kmart discount department store. This Kmart discount department store has, I believe, both a Kmart pharmacy and as well as a Little Caesars Pizza inside the Kmart store. So again, it's the Kmart store in Taoming, Guam. Alrighty, and that's it for Guam. There's not really much else in Guam other than that Kmart discount store. So we'll start out in the West Coast region of the United States, and the next Sears store that we're going to hit, it's the Sears store at the Westfield South Center Mall in Tukwila, Washington, just a few miles east of the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. This is the last Sears store now in the state of Washington. That in itself is pretty significant. And on top of that, this is the last Sears store at a Westfield property. Another big significance there too. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with this store. They clearly have not yet sold the property, but for now, it's the Sears store at the Westfield South Center Mall in Tukwila, Washington State. And obviously Union Gap is no more, so we go right down to California. And California now only has 3 Sears full-line department stores, 2 in the Bay Area and 1 in the greater Los Angeles area. So let's start off with the 2 Sears full-line department stores in the greater Bay Area, which includes the cities of Sacramento, San Francisco, and San Jose. So first we're going to start out with this Sears store in Concord, and this Sears store is located at the Sun Valley Shopping Center in Concord, California. I believe this particular store, I believe, is a split between 1-level and a 2-level store. Again, it's the Sears store at the Sun Valley Shopping Center in Concord, California. So we'll go a few miles east, and then the next Sears store that we're going to hit, it's the Sears store at the Webstertown Mall in Stockton, California. Again, the only other Sears department store within the greater Bay Area. Once these 2 close, Sears will no longer have a presence in the greater Bay Area of California. So again, it's the Sears store at the Webstertown Mall in Stockton, California, which ironically enough is right across the street from the Sherwood Mall Shopping Center, which houses the area's Macy's store. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move along here on the map of California. And then the next we're going to get to the greater Los Angeles area. So with the closure of Burbank, guess what, guys? There is only 1 Sears full-line department store within the greater Los Angeles area that is left. There's no more Sears stores in the greater Los Angeles area that are connected to a mall. The last remaining Sears department store within the greater Los Angeles area, it's the Sears store at the Whitwood Town Center in Whittier, California. So unfortunately, yes, once the Sears store does close in Whittier, California, there will be no more presence of Sears full-line department stores within the greater Los Angeles area. Very sad. Very sad when that day is going to come, unfortunately, but it's probably going to come sooner than you think, unfortunately. I mean, Burbank was very unexpected. I was only expecting Union Gap. I didn't expect Burbank to. I didn't expect them to post temporary positions on their Twitter page, hiring for temporary backroom and temporary cashier. But typically, when those jobs are posted, when they have temporary on their Twitter account, it's basically the end for that location. Unfortunately, it's funny. Burbank was scheduled to close in 2020. But I guess they held off on liquidation because they were trying to liquidate other stores, I guess, or they just didn't have a tenant. So, anyways, let's get to the Sunbelt region of the United States, going past Arizona and New Mexico, because the next Sears store that we're going to hit, it's the Sears store at the Cielo Vista Mall in El Paso, Texas. Now, my recommendation for anyone living in Dallas or Houston, you could fly if you really wanted to see Sears at the Cielo Vista Mall in El Paso, Texas. I would say try and fly into the El Paso International Airport. It's about a few miles north of the Sears full line department store at this airport. But that is my recommendation, is to go ahead and fly into that airport, and yeah, you could visit the Sears store. So again, this is the last Sears store within the state of Texas. And once the Sears store does unfortunately close at the Cielo Vista Mall in El Paso, Texas, Sears will be no more within the state of Texas. So again, it's the Sears store at the Cielo Vista Mall in El Paso, Texas. And hopefully for a while I don't have to do another one of these. But I figured I have to do another one because of the announcement of Burbank. And who knows, we might see some more this week. All right, so let's start off with the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, and then we're going to make our way up the east coast of the United States. Okay, so as we move along here, the next store that we're going to hit, it's the Kmart store at the Mall of St. Croix in St. Croix, United States, Virgin Islands. This Kmart discount department store has both a Kmart pharmacy and as well as a Little Caesars pizza inside the Kmart store. So again, it's the Kmart store at the Mall of St. Croix in St. Croix, United States, Virgin Islands. Okay, and then we go a few miles east in the St. Croix, United States, Virgin Islands, and the next Kmart store that we're going to hit, it's the Kmart store at the Sunny Isles Shopping Center in St. Croix, United States, Virgin Islands. St. Croix, United States Virgin Islands. This Kmart only has a Little Caesars pizza inside the Kmart store. All right, and we're going to move along here to the St. Thomas, United States Virgin Islands, going north just before we hit Puerto Rico. So first, we're going to hit the Kmart store at the Lockhart Garden Shopping Center in St. Thomas, United States Virgin Islands. This is a very basic Kmart store. They don't have anything other than just it being a Kmart store. There's really nothing else to explain here. But again, it's the Kmart store at the Lockhart Garden Shopping Center in St. Thomas, United States Virgin Islands. Alrighty, and then we move a little bit east here. The next Kmart store that we're going to hit, it's the Kmart store at the Tutu Park Mall in St. Thomas, United States, Virgin Islands. This Kmart store has a Kmart pharmacy, as well as having a Little Caesars pizza inside the Kmart store. Alrighty, and then we're going to move on over to Puerto Rico, which is now home to the only non-liquidating full 3-level open Sears department store, as well as the last multi-level Kmart store. So, and both, ironically enough, are right across the street from each other. So the first store that we're going to hit, it's the Sears store at the Plaza Las Americas Mall in San Juan, Puerto Rico. And then directly across the street from that Sears store at the Plaza Las Americas Mall is the Kmart store at Plaza Las Americas Shopping Center in Hatoré, Puerto Rico. So both of these Sears and Kmart stores right across the street from each other, and prospectively, the last ones in the Puerto Rico territory of the United States. All right, so we're going to move along to Florida, and that's and the next store we're going to hit, it's the Kmart store at the Kendall Lakes Plaza Shopping Center in Kendall Lakes, Miami, Florida. Now, there are some things going around that Publix, or Publix, whatever the name of the supermarket is looking to do a supercenter, and it could potentially be going into this Kmart store. There's nothing set in stone as of yet, but there are rumors going around. If you do live in the immediate community of Kendall Lakes, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. So again, this is the Kmart store at the Kendall Lakes Plaza Shopping Center in Kendall Lakes, Miami, Florida. And again, it's only one out of two stores that are operating today, because the Kmart store at the Westwood Plaza Shopping Center in Westwood, New Jersey is unfortunately closed today. This is the last Kmart store within the state of Florida. Once this Kmart store does close, there will be no more Kmart full discount department stores within the state of Florida. All right, as we move along in Florida, the next Sears store that we're going to hit, it's the freestanding Sears store in Coral Gables, Florida. Again, it's a freestanding Sears department store. I believe this is now the oldest one in the fleet. And again, that's really it. It's a freestanding, I believe it is the last freestanding Sears department store within the state of Florida. And again, it's the one in Coral Gables, Miami, Florida. All right, and then the next Sears store that we're going to hit, it's the Sears store at the Gardens Mall in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Here it is. There it is. Sears at the Gardens Mall in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. And then the only other Sears store left within the state of Florida, it's the Sears store at the Florida Mall in Orlando, Florida, near Walt Disney World, Universal Orlando, and SeaWorld Orlando, and as well as many other different entertainment experiences, as well as the Orlando International Airport, too. And here it is, the Sears store at the Florida Mall in Orlando, Florida, the last Sears store in Central Florida. Once the Sears store does close, no more Sears stores will remain in Central Florida. All of them are down in the greater Miami-Dade area. All right, there are no more Sears stores in either Georgia or South Carolina, which means the next Sears store that we're going to hit, it's the Sears store at the Friendly Center in Greensboro, North Carolina. This is the last full-line Sears department store within the state of North Carolina. And once the Sears store does close, there will be no more full-line Sears department stores within the state of North Carolina. So that'll be a very sad day when this Sears store does unfortunately shut down. Okay, and then the next Sears store that we're going to hit, it's going to be the Sears store at the Francis Scott Key Mall in Frederick, Maryland. We just have to go up a little bit here on the map. I do apologize. There we go. Yep, so this is it, the last Sears store within the state of Maryland. It's the Sears store at the Francis Scott Key Mall in Frederick, Maryland. This is the last Sears store within the state of Maryland. And obviously, like I said about North Carolina, once the Sears store does unfortunately close, that will be the end of Sears within the state of Maryland. So, alrighty, and then the next Sears store that we're going to hit, it's in my home state of New Jersey. It's the Sears store at the Newport Center Mall in Jersey City, New Jersey. This is the last Sears store that is not liquidating, not only within the state of New Jersey, but the last Sears store in the entire New York City metropolitan area. Saying that, guys, that's right, the entire New York City metropolitan area that is not closing. And again, it's the Sears store at the Newport Center Mall in Jersey City, New Jersey. Alrighty, and then we're going to go out to Long Island because the next store that we're going to hit, it's the Kmart store at the Bridgehampton Commons Shopping Center in Bridgehampton, New York. Unfortunately, the blue Kmart sign has been removed, but I believe they're replacing it with a red Kmart sign. This Kmart was known as the Martha Stewart Kmart. And why do I say that this was known as the Martha Stewart Kmart? Well, because Martha Stewart used to make special appearances at this Kmart discount department store many years ago. She has since signed on with Macy's, and all that has changed. But she used to make a lot of appearances here, I guess, signings and stuff. When Kmart was in its heyday and when it was actually being profitable and, Sears gave a damn about their employees. Obviously, that is not the case now because the strategy with Sears and Kmart now is all the buildings are up for sale, and basically when someone buys out the lease, that's the end of the store. So Martha Stewart no longer has a contract with Kmart. She is now signed on with Macy's, and as a result, yeah, that's the end of that. But that's why this was known as the Martha Stewart Kmart for many years, because she actually owns, I think she owns a house out in the Hamptons, so she would make public appearances in that Kmart store. So again, with that being said, this is the Kmart store at the Bridgehampton Commons Shopping Center in Bridgehampton, New York. All right, and we're down to our last two stores, so we're going to quickly boomerang back to New Jersey to go over our final location, and then go over our final location. So this is the only other Kmart that remains. This is the Kmart store at the Westwood Plaza Shopping Center in Westwood, New Jersey. Today happens to be a Sunday, so that means this Kmart store will not be operating today. This thing called the Bergen County Blue Laws, and it prevents all non-essential retailers from opening and operating in all Bergen County municipalities with absolutely no exceptions. And again, this is the Kmart store at the Westwood Plaza Shopping Center in Westwood, New Jersey. All right, and obviously Newburgh we're not going to look at because that is closing Sunday, October 16th, 2022. So the final store that we're going to take a look at, it's the Sears store at the South Shore Plaza in Braintree, Massachusetts. This is the last Sears store in Massachusetts, the last Transform Co. operating store in the New England region of the United States, and the last, the last Sears store that's not in New Jersey. And again, it's the Sears store at the South Shore Plaza in Braintree, Massachusetts. All right, so guys, that is all of the non-liquidating and liquidating Sears and Kmart stores. Hopefully, I won't have to do this again for a while. I do want to thank you guys for watching the video. Like I said again, if there happens to be another closing announcement, whenever that comes to be, you guys can count on another video coming out, going over the closing announcement, and then doing once again the non-liquidating and liquidating Sears and Kmart stores. So, anyways, guys, thank you again for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed this video, and that will be it.